begin to ignore her, something truly fascinating starts to unfold. She begins to behave differently, sometimes in ways that catch you completely off guard. But here's the surprising truth. Her reaction isn't random. It's grounded deeply in psychology. And if you understand how it works, you can actually use it to your advantage. Now, you might assume that ignoring a woman is just some game or a manipulative tactic, but in reality, it runs much deeper than that. Women have strong emotional reactions when they're ignored because it stirs up something primal, something they themselves can't simply ignore. In this video, I'll break down exactly why ignoring her has such a powerful effect, what's going through her mind while you're distant, and how her reactions can actually reveal what you truly mean to her. So if you're ready to tap into this psychological insight, keep watching. When you start pulling away, something shifts. Her behavior begins to change in ways that might seem unexpected. But it's not a coincidence. It's a psychological response based on how we're wired to process attention, or more importantly, the sudden lack of it. Women, by nature, are emotionally attuned, and when a man they care about begins to distance himself, it unleashes a wave of emotions that she may not fully understand herself. At first, she might put on a front like she doesn't care. She might convince herself she doesn't need you, or act completely indifferent to your absence. But under the surface, your sudden withdrawal is already starting to affect her subconscious. This isn't about mind games or manipulation. It's about understanding a dynamic that's existed in relationships for generations. The truth is, attention carries power. When you're constantly available, replying instantly to every message, liking all her posts, and never missing a beat, it creates a sense of predictability. And while that might seem comforting, it often works against you when it comes to attraction. What women crave, whether consciously or not, is mystery, excitement, and challenge. When a man becomes too predictable, she subconsciously starts taking him for granted. She knows you'll be there. She knows you'll always respond. And because of that, the spark begins to fade. But once you take a step back, when you stop doing the things she's come to expect from you, everything begins to shift. She starts to ask herself, why isn't he texting? Did I mess up? Has he lost interest? That uncertainty is what builds emotional tension, and it's one of your most powerful tools. Now, ignoring her isn't about being cold or heartless. It's about creating space for her to evaluate her feelings and understand what she might be at risk of losing. People by nature don't value what's always at their fingertips. They value what they have to put effort into. And this is even more true in romantic dynamics. When you withdraw your attention, the power dynamic naturally changes. You're no longer the one doing the chasing. Suddenly, you become the one she has to figure out, the one she starts trying to win back. And that shift is incredibly powerful because it touches on a core human tendency. We all desire what we can't easily attain. But it's not just about vanishing and waiting for her to come running. The way you manage this distance is key. If you disappear completely or respond with coldness when she reaches out, you risk appearing immature or spiteful. That's not the goal here. Instead, your aim is to communicate that you value your time, your energy, and yourself. You're demonstrating that you won't settle for one-sided effort, and that self-respect, that quiet confidence, that's what makes you even more attractive in her eyes. Over time, she begins to feel the gap your absence creates. And here's where it gets really interesting. She'll often try to rationalize what's going on. Initially, she might think you're just busy or temporarily distracted. But as the days go by, without the usual attention, doubt begins to creep in. Women tend to overthink, and when there's no clear explanation, they start to fill in the blanks on their own. Her emotions and curiosity kick into overdrive. She might start checking your social media more often, looking for clues about what you're doing. She'll notice every story you don't view, every post you don't engage with. If you were once consistent, this shift will stand out even more. This absence of attention creates a psychological vacuum. All the small things you used to do, the good morning messages, the compliments, the steady acknowledgement, have suddenly disappeared. And human nature makes us miss what we no longer have, even if we didn't fully appreciate it at the time. It's like hearing your favorite song so often that you stop noticing it until one day it's gone. Then, All of a sudden, you realize just how much you loved hearing it. Your silence becomes that missing melody, and she feels its absence in a very real way. Now here's where the power dynamic starts to flip. Ignoring her doesn't just make her miss you, it makes her question her own value in your eyes. Women often tie their self-worth to how desired they feel, especially when it comes to someone they're genuinely interested in. When you begin to pull back, it can lead her to wonder, was I not enough? Is he seeing someone else? Did I do something wrong? These questions push her inward, prompting reflection. And for the first time, her attention is fully on you, not as a response, but out of curiosity and emotion. At this stage, she might reach out in subtle ways. Maybe she sends a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" or reacts to a story of yours. These aren't random gestures, they're signals, her way of testing the waters, trying to figure out where she stands with you. And how you respond in that moment is everything. If you leap at the opportunity to reconnect, you risk undoing all the progress you've made. But if you stay calm, measured, and slightly elusive, you'll only increase her curiosity. What you're doing here isn't about playing her, it's about shifting the balance so that your value becomes clear. People often don't realize how deeply they care until they have to imagine life without someone. And in your absence, she's doing exactly that. She's not just missing the attention, you're also reminding her of everything that first drew her to you. The confidence, the charisma, the spark. As her thoughts spiral around you, a shift begins. She's no longer pulling away, she's now inching closer. She starts replaying old conversations, wondering if she missed a sign, analyzing your tone, your words, even your silence. That mental rewind creates emotional urgency. She wants to fix whatever went wrong. She wants to bring back the connection. And the longer this uncertainty lasts, the more her mind magnifies what's at stake. Psychologically, this is scarcity at play. When something feels abundant, we don't value it. But as soon as it becomes rare, its value skyrockets. Your absence creates that scarcity. Suddenly, your attention is no longer guaranteed, and that makes it infinitely more desirable. You'll notice this shift in small but meaningful ways. She might like old photos, respond to things she previously ignored, or bring up memories you shared. These are her attempts to reconnect, but they also reveal her growing vulnerability. In her mind, she's thinking, if I don't do something now, I might lose him for good. But this time, you're not reacting the way she expects. You're not instantly available. And that unpredictability? It's what keeps her drawn in. When someone becomes too predictable, attraction tends to wane. But when there's even a slight hint of mystery, it sparks curiosity. She wants to understand what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and why you've changed. The more unanswered questions she has, the deeper her desire to solve the puzzle. By stepping back, you've quietly taken control of the dynamic. You're no longer the one chasing, you're the one being chased. That reversal is powerful. It compels her to evaluate not just her feelings for you, but also how far she's willing to go to regain your attention. She might start being more available, crafting her messages more carefully, or even posting things specifically to get your attention. At this point, her emotions begin to overpower her logic. Even if she's told herself she could move on, she can't stop thinking about you. Now it's not just about missing you, it's about proving to herself that she still matters to you. That emotional storm she's caught in? You didn't have to do anything to create it. But here's what really matters. Balance. You're not ghosting her, nor are you playing childish games. You're maintaining your independence, your self-worth, and your emotional boundaries. You're silently showing her that you know your value. And that quiet, self-assured energy, that's exactly what sets you apart. It's what makes her realize you're not just another guy, you're someone who knows his worth. Over time, her emotions intensify. She's torn between her pride and her growing urge to bridge the gap. This is the tipping point. You might notice more obvious signals, late-night messages, nostalgic references to things you did together. These aren't random, they're strategic, emotionally driven attempts to recapture the bond you once had. But here's where the real magic happens. Instead of replacing you with something or someone else, she fills that void with thoughts of you. Every time she wonders where you are or who you're with, her emotional connection grows stronger. And the best part? You've done none of the chasing. Your absence has allowed her to experience life without you, and that contrast is what drives home your value. Before, she may have assumed you'd always be there. But now, your distance reminds her of just how much you brought into her life. And when she compares the uncertainty she feels now to the comfort she once felt with you, there's no question which version she wants back. This is where many slip up. The moment she shows interest again, they rush in, dropping all boundaries and hoping to pick up where things left off. But doing that only tells her your behavior was temporary, not a true reflection of your standards. That's when your power begins to fade. Instead, when she reaches out, you respond with calm, composed energy. You're kind, maybe even warm, but you're not overly eager. You don't cancel plans or change your day just because she sent a message. You're showing her that your world doesn't revolve around her, that you're a man with purpose, that you respect yourself. And if she truly wants to reconnect, she'll have to show up with genuine effort. She'll be the one starting conversations, making plans, and proving that she's serious. And when a woman begins to invest emotionally, that's when her attachment deepens. This is how you leave a lasting impression. Not by begging her to stay, but by creating space for her to choose you, to work for you, and to value the connection again. And the best part, even if she doesn't come back, you still win, because you've made yourself the priority. You've shown that your worth isn't dependent on anyone's attention or approval. You've built the strength to walk away from what doesn't serve you. And that lesson? It will elevate every area of your life, not just your relationships. So remember, ignoring her isn't about punishment, it's about self-respect. You're not playing games. You're setting a standard, one that only those who truly value you can meet. That's real power. Because the goal isn't to manipulate, it's to highlight your value. And once she sees it, she'll either rise to meet you or lose her chance entirely. Either way, you stay in control. That's the power of understanding psychology, mastering boundaries, and knowing your worth. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.